President William Ruto as Ruto must go slogans will not take you anywhere, the president has told the opposition. Now, Kenyans will not be swayed by outdated politics, empty rhetoric, and sloganeering, President William Ruto has said. Now, the president said Kenyans are keen on development programs and policies that transform Kenya and have a real impact on their lives. To this end, he said the government is implementing initiatives that will address the challenges facing the country and transform the lives of Kenyans. He told the opposition that the era of slogans is gone, adding that they have no development agenda to offer the people. President William Ruto was speaking during a consultative meeting with grassroots leaders from Migori County at the Sony Sugar Grain Stadium in Awendo, attended by Governor Ochilo Ayako, Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi, Energy, and John Mbadi, Treasury. MPs and MCAs were also in attendance. Here is the president speaking.
Siasa imebadilika, kwamba sasa siasa is no longer about slogans. It is now about issues. And the people of Kenya want to know from the leadership they have elected, what is it that they have done?
And this country is going to reward you handsomely. And I am proud that when the time comes for them to reward you, this community, this region, this area is going to reward you alongside them.
You have shown us a different friendship. I am not saying this because I'm Minister for Finance. I am saying this because I can see the way you relate with everybody in this country.
Na ndio mimi nawaambia wale watu wa chuki na wale wa ukabila, wale hawana agenda, wale hawana mpango, ya kwamba sisi ni watu wa kazi bila break.
Baba akisema left ni baba akisema right ni baba amesema tuko katika serikali ya broad base. Namna hiyo
ukifika area hii utapata mambo yamechacha. Bank iko very busy kwa sababu mheshimiwa rais watu wanalipwa pesa kila wiki. Na sasa umetuongezea ingine affordable housing, watu wameanza kazi kule.
Mkulima akilete miwa yake in 1 week alipe pesa yake 1 week. Na wasipolipa in 1 week munipatie habari. I will sort them out.
Wewe umesema yako report card hapa, sisi tunafuata hiyo report card. Sisi hatufuati mtu, tunafuata report card. Kwa hivyo kama una report card, wewe unaenda nyumbani.
And away from that, now to the opposition itself, as Gachagua cuts short a US tour to lead the DCP by-election campaigns. And the Democracy for Citizen Party leader Rigathi Gachagua has cut short his diaspora tour of the United States after a month. In a statement early Thursday, Gachagua relayed that his decision was to allow him to make preparations for the upcoming by-elections. Apologizing for the inconvenience caused, he stated that he would revisit the trip early in 2026. Gachagua left the trip on July 9th, which was to last for 2 months. And following his decision, Gachagua said that he would be taking a few days to rest before heading back to Kenya, and he would soon make his itinerary public. Here are the full details to the story.
He rallied our brothers and sisters abroad to prepare for active political participation and to return home to help rebuild this nation from the ruins of corruption and misrule. Thursday at 12 noon will be the return of our general. Their plan upon our party leader's arrival at JKIA is to abduct, intimidate, brutalize, and eventually place him under house arrest. Cut him off from his supporters. The chairperson of the National Assembly Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations Committee has revealed another calculated provocation, a plan to divert His Excellency Rigathi Gachagwa's flight to Mombasa or Kisumu International Airport.
Slams MPs for usurping county functions, say CDF is unconstitutional, and ODM leader Raila Odinga has come out strongly against members of National Assembly, accusing them of overlapping their mandate and undermining devolution by taking over roles meant for the devolved units. Speaking during a burial of a former Kisumu Town Member of Parliament, Ken Nyagudi, in Gem constituency, Siaya County, Raila criticized the growing tendency where MPs are increasingly turned themselves into contractors and managing projects that are constitutionally meant for the governors. Here are the full details of Raila speaking in Gem.
The only thing this system does is to pervert the role of the representative of the people and to deflect their attention from duties placed upon them by the Constitution. There's no need for somebody sitting in Nairobi called Kura who claims those roads as his roads. The same thing in Mombasa, Eldoret, Nakuru, and so on. It is unnecessary for Senate to be summoning governors to go to appear before senators in Nairobi. Only the public accounts and the public investment committees should summon not even governors, the chief executives of the county government.
My colleague from Garissa usually says being a governor is like working in a landmine. You have to buy your peace at every level. I don't think that is what devolution was meant to be, Your Excellency.
There are about 688 delayed projects across 34 counties, valued at about 24 billion Kenya shillings, 40 unutilized projects in 10 counties amounting to about 400 million Kenya shillings. These are issues that we need to look at.
And away from that story now to the BBC. Response to CS Kipchumba Murkomen's claims of fake expose on child sex trade. And BBC News has responded to claims made by Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen that the documentary highlighting sex trafficking among minors in Mahimahu, titled Madams, exposing Kenya's child sex trade, was fake and meant to taint the country's image. During a Q&A session in Parliament on Wednesday, August 13, CS Murkomen claimed that a section of the girls in the video falsified their age to qualify for promised sponsorship by the British broadcaster. And in a statement on Thursday, BBC News maintained that more of the victims were paid. None of the victims were paid, offered payment, or coerced in any way. They added that the victims who were interviewed were above the age of 18 and recounted experiences of abuse that occurred when they were underage. And further, BBC News reaffirmed handling over the evidence gathered during the investigation to the Kenya Police in March 2025 in a bid to aid in the investigations. Now, the expose, which has since garnered traction online, painted a grim picture of how girls as young as 13 years were easily manipulated and introduced to the sex industry for money. Here are the full details to the story.
Possible that the BBC crew aimed to shed light on these issues, it's now apparent that the documentary failed to meet the intended purpose due to falsified information from several interviewees. Preliminary findings indicate that some of the girls interviewed by BBC falsified their age to qualify for the promised sponsorship, as the BBC team was interested in underage girls engaged in sex work.
From that, now to CJ Kome warns against intimidating the judiciary. Justice Martha Kome has stamped authority on what she terms as the non-negotiable principle of judicial independence, which she says has been tested by public attacks, including threats to judges and judicial officers. Kome says the threatening rhetoric is a grave effort to the rule of law, reminiscent of an era when the authority of courts was routinely undermined.
My position has been unequivocal. Any party aggrieved by a judicial decision, even if it is the government, the executive, they must seek redress through appeals or reviews, not through defiance or verification of judges or judicial officers. No one has the right to choose which court orders to obey and which court orders to ignore. In instances where parties have been dissatisfied with bail and board terms imposed by the magistrates, they have swiftly moved to the High Court for review of those terms, and I'm happy to say the High Court has reviewed those terms to ensure fairness and proportionality on board terms.
Anticipatory bail is neither a Kenyan innovation granted on whims, nor does it amount to judicial endorsement of crime. The judiciary is a fact finder guided by the law and evidence, and not to be swayed by political sensationalism.
As Chief Justice, I have declared zero tolerance for corruption. The other day we launched a call center, and I sent one of the messages to run in our mobile app is that we don't take bribes, we don't ask for facilitation, and don't bring money to the judiciary. And if you ask for money, call this number. And I'm happy in this convening, we have many of our Gen Cs. We celebrate you, Gen Cs. I have admitted many of you to the bar. If you can stand, we recognize you. Gen Zs, they have no courage to stand. Please stand up.
Stories that are making headlines in the dailies, and we started off with the Standard. Ridiculous displays is the headlining story in the Standard. Now, millions are sunk into a glittering jamboree of convoys, luxury hotels, and joyrides. The Homa Bay Devolution Conference has exposed a grotesque pageant of West governors rolled in with fleets of fuel-guzzling Prados, aides flashing designer watches, and delegations of up to 100, yet county stands lay bare. Bungoma's display was a governor's chair and unpacked phones. Kisumu offered biscuits and books. Siaya brought 4 pieces of dried fish from a private trader, as Baringo displayed a few tins of honey and pamphlets. Taxpayers picked up the tabs as the leaders reviewed the success of the meeting. That is a story that you will find on page 4 of the Daily Standard this morning. And you will find some of the pictures in the Standard this morning of how governors rolled into the devolution conference. And actually, that is the only story that is on the that is on the front page of the Standard. Away from the Standard now to the Daily Nation. Mr. President, expose the corrupt members of parliament. Now, firestorm. President Ruto's warning to bribe taking lawmakers has sparked controversy, with some MPs conceding the House had become a den of graft, and others are fighting back. Leaders now want the president to name and shame the rogues. That is on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Nation this morning. Raila backs governors to snub Senate, and ODM leader Raila Odinga has told senators they have no legal mandate to summon governors to answer to audit queries. Mr. Odinga says governors should account for the public spending before their respective county assemblies, a statement that is set to embolden members of the county assemblies. That is a story that you'll find on page 6 of the Daily Nation this morning. Also, other stories include why math and science teachers have a better chance for 24,000 TSC vacancies. Now, TSC to give preference to applicants with science, technology, engineering, and mathematics qualifications. And that is a story that you'll find on page 14 of The Nation this morning. And of course, Catholic nuns win rare court battle with priests over school. Now, the High Court has ruled in favor of a group of nuns in a protracted case with the priests over the ownership of Our Lady of Grace School in Kisumu. Now, Franciscan Sisters of St. Anne Luak retained control of the school for the underprivileged children in Kajulu. That is a story that you'll find on page 10 of The Nation this morning. And The Voice, trapped by dreams, that is in your DN2 pull out in The Nation this Friday. And on that note, we take another quick break. When we come back, we're coming back with your sport. Keep it science.